2 augustus jongstleden trad Stevie Guitar Miller op in de vrijwel uitverkochte Rotterdamse Ahoy, waar Countdown een registratie maakte van Millers unieke combinatie van blues, rock'n'roll en space music. In de Countdown special vanavond, de Steve Miller Band.
Hello everyone. Alright, I'm gonna break down my video making process a little bit. I have a large folder of potential videos to do, divided into super relevant and timely and classic 80s cheese. Hardly ever does something from category B suddenly come back into the zeitgeist, but the present is always surprising. This year, Eminem decided to sample Steve Miller Band's Abracadabra into his new hit single, Houdini. Both songs went to number 1, and suddenly people are reassessing Abracadabra as one of the best songs of the 80s. But no one has ever or will ever do the same for the music video. I mean, come on people, look at this. Steve Miller claimed that the song was inspired by the music of Diana Ross. Abracadabra started off as a great piece of music with really atrocious lyrics. One day I was out skiing in Sun Valley and, lo and behold, who did I see on the mountain but Diana Ross? I skied down off the mountain to go have lunch. I had played with Diana Ross and the Supremes on Hullabaloo in the 60s, and I started thinking about the Supremes, and I wrote the lyrics to Abracadabra in 15 minutes. Not to be rude, but you can kind of tell, right? Like, the chorus is, abracadabra, I wanna reach out and grab ya. Abracadabra, abracadabra. Not the deepest lyrics in the world. As this was 1982, and MTV was still new, they had to film a music video, making it the band's first. I don't know if the band just wanted to keep a low profile or what, but they don't play a large role in the music video. Instead, the video features magicians doing tricks with fire and white doves. I was a big magic nerd as a kid, and this just isn't doing it for me. One of the biggest rules of showing magic on television is that you never cut away. If the audience thinks that the trick can be chalked up to camera edits, they're not going to be invested in it.
As a matter of fact, I want to try something right now. One continuous shot, nope. Right here, you're going to see the action as it happens. Moment by moment, I'm going to step inside what I call the teleporter. Wendy calls it a gazebo.
Also, no one can follow the trick if you cover the screen in this many filters. No one can see anything. Okay, film nerd fun fact, this is a colored checkerboard used to properly white balance a camera and provide accurate colors within the film. I've personally never used one because my films are extremely low budget, but they're often an excellent resource. I have no idea why it made it into this video though. Wikipedia describes this woman as a beautiful enchantress, the Abracadabra girl. Not related to the video, I guess, but just calling out the Wikipedia editors here. I guess I just wanted more magic. Like, this is all cool, but I didn't expect so much fire eating and juggling. I find these kinds of things like the warm-up to magic. Definitely in the same realm, but I guess just somehow less mystifying. Because the band was on tour at the time, they only appear in the video through photographs, which, come on guys, what a lazy way to just slot yourselves in here. If you're going to commit to making a video, you've got to put in a little more effort than that. Okay. But don't worry. Instead, we've got various goofball tricks in front of, the Abracadabra girl. We turned a mouse into a dove, into a baby. Great job, everyone. All it took was 3 cuts. Does anyone else feel grossed out by how they show her here? It's like how Mitch Pileggi would perv out on the assistants on Breaking the Magician's Code.
Whatever he has in mind, this guy's pretty kinky. And he goes for girls with bare feet.
Calm down, Mitch. You're on TV. Someone was really impressed with this spinning ball trick. I loved how acts who were huge before MTV tried to adapt and couldn't. Like Abracadabra by Steve Miller, which was a huge song. Oh, stop it. You're making a fool of yourself. He just seemed too old. He was probably in his late 30s. The song went to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 2 weeks, non-consecutively. Capitol didn't even originally want to release it as a single in the US. It was his European label, Phonogram, that saw the potential in it.
And I had Abracadabra, and Capitol didn't believe in it and didn't want to release it in the States. I had a different deal with Phonogram in Europe, and it came out in Europe, and I canceled my American tour and went to Europe, and it was number 1 everywhere in the world except the States. And then it came number 1 in the States, and I came back, and sheds were brand new. They had just started opening up sheds, and I played like 10 sheds, and there was like 3,000 people coming to the shed gig, in a place that holds 17,000 people. I did about 10 of those shows, and I went, okay, I'm going to go buy a boat, and I'm going to name it Abracadabra, and I'm out of here.
The video was directed by Peter Kahn, who only really helmed a handful of music videos. He also worked on RoboCop somehow. This credit isn't exactly clear. He later directed the video to Steve Miller Band's 1984 song Bongo Bongo, which is a digital nightmare in both video and audio. You really grow to appreciate what a miracle the Money for Nothing video is, and oh great, more juggling. To quote Kahn's website, done on a shoestring budget with no time to plan, the footage was shot on just 500 feet of 35mm film. And you can definitely tell, right? I haven't seen someone reuse footage this much since every time Bad Music Video Theater tries to claim they filmed new footage of their host at a computer. Guys, seriously, what? 1 week of post-production afforded the opportunity to use for the first time an in-house developed 8-bit computer paint system. This paint system predated any broadcast usage of pixel painting, a technique which is taken for granted today on most any personal computer. I'll say, just look at this. That tears it. We're doing the episode. Roll the credits. He also claimed that he was nominated for Best Director at the first VMAs, which he absolutely was not. To date, no Steve Miller Band video has gotten even a single VMA nomination, and Peter Kahn's only nod was for Best Special Effects in TLC's Waterfalls video. Stop stealing valor from Tim Newman, director of ZZ Top's Sharp Dressed Man, Peter Kahn.
And that was the biggest hit I ever had. That was number 1 all over the world that year.
But music can be a funny business. On top one moment, obscure the next. Abracadabra was Miller's last hit.
Now we're talking about like 82, 83 when, new wave and punk and heavy metal and the hair bands were coming in. And I thought my career was over then.
The biggest thing to happen to Abracadabra since the 80s was Eminem getting a hold of it this year. On May 31st, he released Houdini, which not only sampled Abracadabra, but some of Eminem's early hits. The song reinvigorated interest in the original song, and it also became Steve Miller's technical first number 1 hit since the original debuted. In a Twitter thread, Miller called Eminem one of those timeless originators building something new on a long musical legacy of original artists. Oh yes, magnanimous regards from rock music's resident nice guy, Steve Miller. Oh, how I wish to have been there when Steve first dropped the needle on My Name Is or Stan. This whole thread reads as both, hey, thanks for the shout out, and hey, thanks for not stealing my song and actually giving me a cut of the royalties, which, fair. I guess the greatest trick the Steve Miller Band ever pulled was making us believe that a quality video ever existed, and it's gone. Thanks for watching, everyone. I always appreciate people liking and sharing my videos. I'm hard at work creating the next episode, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. If you find any terrible music videos that you're desperate for me to cover, drop them in the comments. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.
To me, it looks like some strange Doctor Who teleporter system. What do you say, boys? Right?
Okay.